and welcome to another episode of the Unlocking Fitness podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Pitts, and in today's episode, we have a guest called Amanda White. Now, Amanda got her degree in social work and abnormal psychology in 2011 when she started working with women suffering from endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, celiac disease, and other inflammatory conditions. In 2012, she was diagnosed with endometriosis herself, and while struggling to manage her own health, she certified in nutrition and strength and conditioning coaching in 2014. And she's combined all her clinical and personal knowledge and experience to create a simple 6-step method that she has used herself to lose over 225 pounds and be in remission from stage 4 endometriosis for over 3 years, and that she coaches others how to use for themselves. Her work has recently led her into helping people who suffer from loss or trauma. She's a #1 Amazon best-selling author in women's health for her book Surviving Endometriosis, and her next book, The Spiritual Awakening Cookbook, is due to be released later this year. This subject is likely to be new for many of you, so Amanda has kindly produced a PDF that you can download from the show notes to help you follow along. She really is a force of nature and just a lovely human being. So bring an open mind to this conversation and let's dive in. Welcome everyone to the Unlocking Fitness podcast. I am so excited about today's guest. We have Amanda White with us from over in the US, and she's going to be talking about a topic I know nothing about, and that is chakras and energy and how it can influence the coaching that we're doing. So welcome, Amanda. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. We've been talking about me coming on the podcast for a while now, but I'm just super excited to be here and spreading this awareness of this, because it's something that gets really neglected, especially in the health and wellness professions like personal training and stuff. So it's something that can really take your performance to that next level, and it'll help clients embody themselves more, so you're not always techno babble at them,
Sure.
So it makes the healing process so much easier. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about all of these really awesome things that you can do with like an alternative and holistic approach to balancing energy and just your overall health based off of that.
Cool. Yeah. All right, so let's kind of start at the beginning. Okay. Right, I mentioned chakras. Like, what are they? Why are they important?
I gotcha. So chakras refer to energy points of your body, and it's like an energy vortex that transports energy from like the universe or from your outside environment, that things that you're always in that are around you that you start to embody. And you can think of this like as a chakra system, kind of like your spiritual bloodstream. Like your blood carries like oxygen and nutrients and hormones like all throughout the body, and it helps to regulate the balance of your body, and it protects you from like removes the waste that you don't need, and it helps with clotting when your body gets harmed, which is a lot what personal trainers and trainers actually do, is to help prevent injury. And so much like the same way your bloodstream connects and supports so many parts of like the physical body system, your chakra system connects and supports your physical self with your energy self to give you a better look at what chakras look like and kind of like how to envision these things when you're trying to work with them, is to kind of see them as like these balls of energy that are within your body that should stay open and should stay aligned with each other to have the optimum results when it comes to having high energy levels and not bombing out at the end of the day where you're just completely slugged out, just sluggish and feel like crap, right? And so like having these, working with like the physical body and the energy body that everyone has, every living thing has these energy centers that your body needs.
Yeah.
Humans, animals, plants, everything. And so you take in all of that energy. So the animal eats the plant, the humans eat the animal and the plant. and we get that energy from the sun. And so it's like all connected. Everything is connected. And there are 7 of these major chakras throughout your body that help keep you aligned. And they all have their own special color. They all have their own special meaning in the organs in which they help to align and keep moving properly or help keep functioning properly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, a lot of coaches listening to this might be thinking, oh God, here we go, hippy dippy crap, right. But this kind of system has been around for centuries, hasn't it? People have known this for a long time.
Yes. And this is your Hindu medicine. These are things that they did in Egypt and to heal themselves, because there wasn't like a medicine man, Chinese medicine and all of that. This is where it goes back. This is that holistic approach, and where you have like Western medicine that's always focused on the pills and all of these different things that are just chemicals that you're putting in your body and causing that energy to just bomb out all the time, instead of focusing in on things that you can control. And that is the biggest part of being able to be intuitively in tune with yourself, to where you can feel something coming on before you have to go to the doctor or before you have to go to physical therapy or anything like that. These are things that will help you to really be able to identify a problem before the problem actually starts. So you're not working out. Like if you're working out 7 days a week, you're tearing down muscles, right? And when you sleep and the food that you put in your body creates that energy and that healing process. But what happens when you overdo it, right? When you go out and you're pumping iron and you're taking protein shakes and all these other things to help your energy levels be a lot higher, instead of using what the earth and everything that it's giving you, to where you don't need all the supplements, right? Like there's different types of supplements that you could use to help yourself be aligned. But we're talking about all the added garbage that you add to yourself that's actually doing more harm to you than it's doing good.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, for those people who are still listening and just kind of going, yeah, I still don't believe it's going to be a whole lot of nonsense. The thing that struck me, and the thing that you really cannot get away from as an absolute truth in the universe, is that animals accept human beings after we learn to use words. Animals always using energy to assess everything around them, so the deer know when a leopard is stalking them and they're about to be hurt, but there's no verbal communication. Right. My dog knows when I'm upset. She knows when I'm happy. I don't have to say anything because she can feel my energy. And somebody with negative energy in a room full of people can bring the whole room down. Exactly. Babies assess what's going on before they have words, using that energy. That's how they assess the world. And until we get to 3 years old and everyone goes, use your words, we totally lose this ability to read the world around us. But every single one of us could walk into a room and figure out who was in a bad mood if nobody said anything. You can feel that tension, you can feel all that energy in the room, so it takes a little bit of an open mind to have this conversation. But I'm really glad we're having this conversation, because there's no doubt that this stuff exists.
Right. And so we always say hippie nonsense, blah, blah, blah. Right. Mm-hmm. And so let me break it down and put it into ways that we might understand it, being fitness in the health and fitness profession, right? Mm-hmm. So you're already familiar with the physical body. You know how it feels to flex and extend areas of the body. That your muscles are attached to bones, the nerve signals to all the limbs, your torso, your head, and that what you eat and drink affects your health. Mm-hmm. In these ways, you can already see how aspects of the physical being can connect to each other, because you feel it, you see it, you can taste it, right? Mm-hmm. And so by hearing how it informs each part of the body and how it's all connected, it creates that life experiences, right? Like you're
Yeah.
experiencing so many different things by what you feel, by what you put into your body, what attracts you to certain things, right?
Mhm.
So however, the physical body is not the only body that we have, which I've said previously. So whether you are studying chakras or energy centers, we call them, I like to call them energy centers,
Mhm.
but if you're studying chakras or you're studying quantum physics, you can learn that everything is energy. You've always learned that everything is made up of energy. And with that is your own vibrational frequency, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has their own vibration, and everybody, it's like your fingerprints, like everybody has their very own unique fingerprint, right? And so from the most basic atoms that are created with our cells, organs, bones, muscles, the bodily system, to the most, the biggest planet like that we know of, right, that has everything that we need to survive. It's all made up of energy.
Mhm.
And the energy body is the human energy field that extends beyond the physical body, much as, like the physical body consists of many, many layers, like your nervous system, your muscular, your skeletal system, and it all overlays each other. It all works together. Now, your energy body also consists of many, many layers, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But like the physical body, each layer serves as its specific purpose, and the layer works collectively together as one unit, just like your endocrine system does. That's how
Mhm.
you stay balanced in your body. So together with these layers, it's called this, these energy layers, you might have heard about it. It's called your aura, the energy that you, that the world sees, that you push off. You were talking about when you're negative, or you're sad, or you're excited,
Mhm.
like you push off an energy that people connect with, right?
Mhm.
And it's that energy is what the energy body is all made of. Is that aura. It's as you feel it with this negative, if you feel it with negative energy, if you feel it with pain, loss, trauma,
Mhm.
injury, anything like that, that light dimmens and you become a very sheltered, very frail person that, nobody really wants to approach.
Mhm.
However, when your energy is high and you are happy and you're excited, then that's what's going to bring people in, and they're going to fuel themselves off of the energy that you're putting out there. And
Mhm.
that's where this energy comes from. It doesn't come from an energy drink. It doesn't come, I mean, everything is dealt with like endorphins and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking about fueling yourself with something that you can control by using what your environment is pushing on you, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so like the energy chakras, energy centers, and is it a bunch of hippie nonsense? No, I don't think it is. It's connecting with nature, it's connecting with yourself, and it's actually giving you communication with yourself. So you're not negatively talking to yourself like, oh, I really sucked today on my, doing my deadlifts. I really felt it in my back, or I felt it, all these different things. And when you're working out and you're staying in perfect alignment, you don't get hurt, right? But it takes a lot of energy to hold things in place, right? Where do those energy centers come from? Like what are you focusing on when you're doing a deadlift, or if you're doing a crunch, or whatever it is that you're doing? It's staying aligned to prevent an injury from happening. And that's why you have a trainer to watch you do that. So yeah, that's my spiel on how it is not hippie nonsense, and how if you listen to it, it could give you a lot of valuable information before you have to go and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars being put in machines to find out what's wrong with you, when you can feel it yourself.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, obviously coming from an injury prevention point of view, one of the things that my coaches really struggle with is getting the information from people, because the individuals themselves can't tell there's a problem usually until there's pain. But when you focus on how your body feels and the energy inside of you, you can feel those blockages before they become anything painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's difficult to get words out if you can't even recognize that there's something
Right.
going on, you know, or there's some kind of problem happening.
Right.
So how would you suggest that maybe coaches can use the idea of energy centers and chakras and that kind of thing to help connect with their people or to help with performance? Or, you know, have you got any kind of suggestions?
Oh, absolutely. So, one of the biggest things that I've always experienced with any type of coaching is always visualizing something. You have to visualize your goal. You have to visualize yourself in the perfect alignment when you're doing a certain exercise, move, whatever. So, if you can give a person that you're training visual cues internally, what to look for, as well as an externally, you're going to see like a large increase in getting results as an example of that. So say when you're doing like a balancing exercise and you tell someone to focus in on the floor, right? Or pick a spot on the wall or the floor to get balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found personally and seeing it working with other people that by closing your eyes and focusing in on a specific location, say, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, but focusing in on a specific place, just like the spot on the wall or the spot on the floor, by focusing in on that, they're going to be able to visualize it, right? Visualization is huge when doing something like this. So by giving them those visual cues, you're opening up their mind to really seeing what you're talking about. I can't tell you how many times Marty would say, Amanda, close in your rib cage. Your rib cage is open. We need to close it in, tighten it up, right? So Marty's my husband. I should say that. I'm sorry. But if you are trying to get someone to keep their core engaged specifically on certain exercises, like I was saying, at that part where you want to add at the end, like a lot of the time people will have their rib cage open, like I was saying, and they begin to arch their back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is often due to tight hips as well. It's not just something that's in the core, it's also in the hips as well when they start to arch their back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is often due to many different things, and you'll start to see like, oh, they're arching their back. That means that they don't have control of their hips, which those energy centers are your solar plexus and your root chakra. And when those two things are out of balance, you get the sway back or you get the arch in your back. And then they might have middle back problems or they have middle back pain. They can have shoulder pain, and it all aligns with each other because it all feeds off of each other. If one's out of whack, normally you have another one out of whack, if not two or three more after that. So with that being said, the solar plexus and the root chakra are pretty much, it's the starting point, which is in your hips, and your solar plexus and your heart are in the middle, and you have sacral down at the bottom, which we can get into that. I'm not going to get into what each and every one of them are because we would be here for hours talking about it because it's complex. But the easiest part about this is being able to say, hey, I want you to visualize a yellow circle right below your chest bone, right? As they do this at a scale and as they inhale and they exhale breathe into that exercise that they are doing, and they're focusing in and trying to find that yellow circle. That circle is going to get brighter and brighter and brighter, and they're going to be focused in on that. They're going to be able to close in that chest. They're going to be like my husband said, you have to, close in your rib cage, right? You're going to hold in that color rather than looking at a spot on the floor and losing your balance, right? And it's all about visualization and focusing in on something. It's just like when you do a meditation. If you do meditations or breathing exercises, if you do yoga or anything like that, you're becoming centered. You're becoming more centered with self. And when you're all in a line, things don't hurt. Things don't hurt. It doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete getting like cryotherapy or anything like that, right? Or if you are a 70-year-old woman who has had scoliosis for her whole life, right? And it doesn't, things like this, it's like when you're balanced and you are able to really feel certain things, like it could be as easy as having a sinus infection, right? Which would mean like something in your third eye chakra is blocked when you start to get sinus infections. If you get sick in like, I don't know, strep throat, your throat chakra is blocked. And so it's just things can go through your body that when something is blocked, when something is broken, when something is cut off, it's not going to work properly. And that's where these energy centers come in, is by being able to balance those. I hope that made sense. It was kind of like blah, but I mean, a lot goes into it and what you can do. The bottom line is you can get them to visualize on specific areas of the body that they want to focus on. And by knowing the colors that are associated with those different chakras or energy centers, it gives you something to look for. And it's very easy to say, hey, look for the red dot, look for the yellow dot, look for the green dot, look for the blue dot. When you find those, really focus in on them. And the more you squeeze them, like this is what you're doing internally, your mind, your body, your spirit. When you work out, it's a stress relief, right? And so you're releasing endorphins when you're doing all of these things. And so that's energy. That is energy that you are putting out, that you are using to gain muscle or to do whatever. So it's all connected. And I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've done something along those lines, but never really put it into words and colors and things like that. But I often, when I'm coaching somebody, I don't like to say, oh, let's use a deadlift, for example, right? Because everyone knows what a deadlift looks like.
Right.
What I try not to do is give them like 15 different teaching points to remember, because nobody remembers that stuff, right? But let's say you've got somebody who's doing a deadlift, but their back is rounding, okay? I will say to that person, take hold of the bar and position yourself, like, stick your hips out, whatever. And then I'll say, and feel really proud of yourself as you pick it up. And it's amazing how many people straighten the back and lift it supposedly correctly, what we would be looking for as correctly, but I didn't give them any of the standard teaching points. It's like, actually just feel proud of yourself, because feeling proud of yourself lifts your chest. When you lift your chest, you stop rounding your back.
Yeah. And you're more confident too, which comes back into your emotions and how you associate different emotions with things. And like that can feel, that can be a limiting belief for a lot of people. And it can be a roadblock for trainers too, because they don't know how to get to what's really holding someone back, especially when it comes to their energy centers, or if they're having injury but don't know how to describe or pinpoint where those feelings are coming from. It's like negative emotions, negative thought patterns, feelings that are associated with chakras that are out of balance. And when you have a negative emotion or a negative thought pattern, most of the time, wherever you are having that negative emotion towards, like say you've had stomach problems, or you have an inflammatory disease of some sort, which is more so out there now than it used to be, especially being brought to people's attention. So those are negative patterns that you are experiencing with those tummy problems. And that is an actual energy center. And your energy center is trying to communicate that with you, like, hey, something is out of balance here. And we really need to focus in on what you're doing to cause these issues. And almost all of the time, it's because that specific energy center is out of balance. And if you have someone that comes in and says that they're angry all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can have a reference to what chakra they have out of balance. And that's something that you can focus on. Being their trainer, being a person that they feel comfortable being vulnerable with, because let's face it, you're putting hands on this person. They have to, obviously with their, putting them in certain positions, but they trust you that you have their best interest and their best health at heart. Like mm-hmm. You're there to protect them from injury. And then you have by knowing your chakras or knowing the chakras and knowing what organs, what muscles, all of these things that are associated with them, you can say, all right, I know exactly what's out of balance, and we can focus in on this and we can heal them. So now you have the clues that to look for. You can see it in their form. You can see if they're arching their back. You can see if they're hunching their back. You can see if one shoulder is higher than the other one. Every trainer does an assessment of a client that comes in. You look at their body and you can actually see from the physical body if there's any imbalances within the body, just like a chiropractor can, right? And so your hands don't have to be on them, but you can see if someone is kinked up in a certain area of their body. And
that's interesting to me, because so many times as coaches and trainers that we focus on the physical stuff, and then we're told we need to, consider mental health. And, it's just all these extra layers of stuff that we're supposed to understand, or we've got to go and learn about. And actually, the inner self is not something that's ever considered as part of that. But what you're saying is what you see as a dysfunction, or what somebody would consider to be a dysfunction in the physical body, can actually be a blockage in the internal self. Is that right?
That's right. Okay. Because people only pay attention to what's on the outside, right? It's very hard for someone to identify something or to believe in something when they can't physically see it. It's like why a lot of people are driven by fear, right? They're afraid of something happening, right? And so as you begin to move your body and start to feel certain ways, like as things start to unblock and everything, you start to feel better. Everything seems to work in tune and in the right places with your body. Your mind is more open. You're proud of yourself. Like you have these small goals that you want to achieve with anything that you do. And this doesn't just go for trainers or anybody like that. Like this is for anybody. Every person can do this to help reinforce just movement patterns altogether. It's not just something that's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's sexual. Like all of those things come into play. And that's what doctors really don't want you to know too, a lot of the time too. It's like, oh, well, this is broken, we have to fix it. And that's why like clients that I've had previously are like, well, this is too hard for me to do. I'd rather just have a pill or have a surgery to take care of it. And then it's like, but you're doing more harm than you are good when you actually have the power and the control to do this for yourself. And you don't need all that extra stuff, right? And so like it's absolutely part of that.
I think a lot of it too is the fact that we don't trust ourselves anymore. Especially in the fitness industry, you've been talking for so long, we've been taught to tell our people that they're moving wrong, or there's some kind of dysfunction, or they need to improve something. And inherently we're telling people, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, over and over and over again. So we instantly think, one, I'm not good enough. Two, well, somebody else better teach me how to do it. And three, we stop listening to what we know instinctively. I mean, nobody needs to tell you when you're going to be sick. Like when you're going to vomit, nobody needs to tell you that. You just know. You know when you need to go to the loo. You know, your body knows how to heal itself. We don't know that. We don't have to tell it anything. So it always frustrates me. Like, why do we have to tell it how to move?
Right. Well, it's people have lost sight of survival instincts,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you're out in the wild, you have to go based off of feeling. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be aware of your surroundings, and
Mm-hmm.
those surroundings have everything to do with your energy. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's raining and it's cold, what do you normally do? You curl up and you with a blanket in a remote control and you get on a couch. Well, in nature, when it gets cold, think of a bear. They go into hibernation when it gets cold and everything. So they're fueling their body to help them survive as they sleep and as they gain energy. Like that's how they produce that energy, is with their food to keep them warm, right? Aside
Mm-hmm.
from their fur. But you have to think of survival instincts.
Yeah.
And what happens if you don't have access to those things that have been a convenience for you throughout your life, that it's just became too easy, right? Or they think it's too easy. But when it comes down to it, having those survival instincts and being able to both pay attention to the physical outside, what you can see in the mirror or your reflection in the water or wherever you are, to going deep and saying, oh, wow, like my tummy really hurts or my back really is killing me, right? And it all can stem from certain things. It might not be something that you've experienced right now or 6 months ago. It could be something from years and years and years ago
Mm.
that you're still dealing with. Like maybe it was a trauma or a loss of something or someone or a job or whatever. Like there are different things that are causing this pain in
Mm.
you, and it's not always what you're eating, right?
No.
It has a lot to do with emotional energy too. And so when people are like, I'm not going to think about that, right now, because that's not why I can't walk, right? Or you think of someone that has had a loss, like just for instance, like with everything that's been going on in the world, right? And there's so much loss that people are experiencing where they're not able to be with their family
Mm.
during those last moments, and that's causing trauma for
Mm.
them. But think of that person that is losing their life, that are passing away, and they're not surrounded by loved ones, and their heart's broken, and initially, like, they don't have the will to live anymore. They've lost that energy. They are completely disconnected. And that is
Mm.
your heart chakra, right? You're brokenhearted. And you have to look through all those things, because it's not just, hey, I'm hurting in this spot. Like there are other things that are associated with certain things that all have an answer to them. And when you're able to focus in and heal those blocked areas, it opens up a whole new world for you internally. So you're becoming more one with self. You're becoming more self-confident. You're believing in yourself that you can do something. And finally, you're becoming like the CEO now. Like you are the boss, and you feel, but the most important part is you feel like the boss of your own body, not somebody else. And that's initially what any trainer would want. Like they want you to be like a force of nature, right?
Mm.
You want to be able to, if a zombie apocalypse just happens to pop up, you want to be able to outrun the person next to you, right? You want to be able to have the energy to move forward, right? If that ever happens, there aren't going to be medicines and chiropractors and stuff to help you survive in that survival state. And
Mm.
so by being able to really be able to identify things that are bothering you and being able to cope with them and move through them and to heal, then you have to go internally. And the way that you go internally is by focusing in on those 7 points on your body that can help you to outrun the next zombie, right? So,
Okay, you heard it here first, people. If you want to outrun a zombie, it's internal.
right. Right. It's
Okay.
willpower. It's what causes the willpower. It keeps them going. It
Yeah.
keeps them saying, all right, I know what I need to do next. Like I know how much food I need to eat to run the marathon to where I don't pass out, or how much water I need to drink on my hike so I don't get, leg cramps or you know what I'm saying? Like a
Yeah.
lot of these things, it's like it's common sense to a lot of us, but because it's never actually something that is talked about that often, people don't know about it.
Yeah.
People don't know what they're capable of because it's always been told to them like, oh, don't think like that. Witches think like that. Gypsies think like that, right? It's something that we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the doctor, you get the pills, you get the surgeries, and they take care of you. But you never get to hear about the things that you can actually do for yourself that can make you not even have to go to a doctor anymore, for that
Right.
matter. And don't get me wrong, I go to the doctor when I have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go to the doctor when I have to, but it's not always my first thing.
Sure.
Like I don't say, oh, got a cough, got to go to the doctor. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
stubbed my toe, got to go get an x-ray. Like it doesn't work that way. And
No.
so when you're able to rely on yourself more so than someone else, you know what's best for you. You know how you're feeling. Doctors don't know how much pain you're in. You know how much pain you're in. And by working with a trainer or whomever, someone that understands injury prevention or rehabilitation after an injury, and how to prevent it from happening again, they're going to be listening to your clients, are going to be listening to you for these cues to say, oh, well, we need to focus in on this. Oh, we need to focus in on that. And that's taking the positive approach rather than saying, hey, you suck at this, right? Like you're wrong for
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you're crazy. It's all in your head.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. And that's the beautiful part of doing the work that we both do,
Mm-hmm.
to help people to really see their own potential. And that's the biggest part of anything, is being able to own up to you and your body, take ownership of what you were given, your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's made up of energy,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what you believe in. They say ashes to ashes and dust to dust, right? Well, that's an energy. That's energy that's going back into the earth. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so all of it is so connected. And excuse me. And that's something that by being able to actually visualize, you hear it in sports movies all the time. You got to visualize your opponent in boxing, especially because it's a moving target, right? And so you have to visualize it. You have to visualize the attack. You have to visualize everything.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're lost, right? You have to, war is another one. Like you have to plan it all out. You have to have a plan of action. You have to be able to visualize the next steps that you're going on. But if you don't have that, you're lost. You're like, oh, what do I do? I don't know what to do with
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah.
So
A
yeah.
friend of mine once said that life is an experiment of one. Like who is somebody else to tell you that what you're doing is wrong? Because they
Right.
are not you, you know? But anyway, we could talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
So let's kind of bring this back to coaching.
Yeah.
And have you got any tips that coaches can use immediately? Like right now, having listened to you, I thought that sounds really interesting, but I don't know what to do, don't know where to start. What kind of tips have you got for coaches who don't know anything about this to be able to start doing something useful with it?
Well, in regards to coaches, I would say start learning and implementing it on yourself first.
Okay, cool.
That's something that I've always became. When you become comfortable with something, it's easy to help someone else
Oh yeah.
get to certain goals. And so I have two things, but the first thing is to actually start doing these things for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because nobody's perfect. Even trainers are sore, so or have issues or whatever. Nobody's perfect. So I would say to start implementing these things on yourself. Start learning what each of those energy centers are, what muscles, what organs, what emotions are associated with those areas. And that's going to get you on a higher level with your clients, because they're going to be like, whoa, I just came here, to lose weight. I didn't come here to have little healing sessions with you, but that's what you're going to be doing. But also you're going to be able to do that for yourself. So you're going to be able to show up consistently every single day, knowing that you're in line, that you're aligned, your body's aligned, your energy's good. You're not going to be what they call here in the States, a negative Nancy. You're not going to be that person that, people are going to dread to see. And a lot of the time people dread to see the person that's like, you have this wrong, you have this wrong, you have this wrong. And it's always like a conviction to them, you're always putting them down. And this is a way for you to really understand the internal issues that some people may be having that they cannot talk about, but you'll be able to point out because, one, you've experienced it. Two, you've been able to completely change your physical and energetic body, like your physical body, and you're feeling so much better, and you're going to be able to take your coaching to the next level. And the second thing was, like I talked about before, is simple visualization. Like me personally, I kind of get people to, like I said, just visualize your attacks, visualize the things that you're trying to do. And it's as simple as just visualizing it.
And the great thing about that is that you can't do it wrong. Everyone's so paranoid about doing everything wrong, aren't they? Especially in the fitness world. It's like this, is this technique right? Am I doing it right? Well, actually, it's just your mind.
Right.
You're not going to hurt yourself,
right?
Or anybody else, really,
right,
by just using visualization.
Yeah, because your mind is your worst enemy. Your mind is your worst enemy, and especially when you're talking yourself out of something that's actually pretty good for you. It's going to say, man, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how can something this easy, right? How can something this easy really turn things around for me? Right. And it's that easy. It's always the hardest stuff to do is the most successful, and that's what people thrive for. But it's the easiest things that people don't believe in and or don't agree with until they try it, and they're like, oh wow, I cannot believe that worked. That was so easy to do.
Yeah.
And the way that you can help them to visualize, like everyone gets a packet or this is what we worked on this week or something like that, right? After every session, you get to how many reps you did, right? Or this was what was out of balance. Well, that's where you can help identify what chakra or what energy center is out of whack. And you can have a meditation recording to help them to relax and actually go deep down and to help them visualize exactly what is being blocked. And meditations are a huge, huge, huge way to unblock the things that are blocked. Yeah. Regardless of if it's chakras, if you can't sleep at night or whatever, meditations are a huge, big part of that. And people may be laughing at that, like, Amanda, there is no way that meditations are going to help me heal, my gluten problem, right? Like, there's no way. Yeah. Well, I'm here to tell you that it does, right? I had severe celiac disease diagnosed, and for years I struggled with that until I started focusing in on my energy centers and being able to focus in on what foods were to nourish that part of the body. And that's something that I've talked to you about too, a little bit about the book that's coming out, but it's about the food that can go in and nourish those places to help you balance them, because it's not just what you're thinking about doing or the organs that are in there and being in line. It's you literally are what you eat. And those energy centers are based off of the things that the energy that you're feeding it. Your body runs off of that. That is the fuel that fuels your body. And it's energy. It's all energy. And so once you're able to go in and unblock those things and to align them, your world is going to be flipped upside down, but you'll never feel better than you ever felt in your whole life.
Cool. Okay, so if people are interested in learning more about this kind of stuff, whereabouts can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Amanda White, on Facebook. That is my page, but my business page is called Sexy She Squatch. You can also find it there as well. And I'm on Instagram, Sexy She Squatch on there too. And we can tag all that in the info. It's a mouthful, but it's all about coming back to source and to nature. And so that's where the She Squatch comes from. So yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a fascinating conversation. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point to explain a little bit more, but thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
The Unlocking Fitness podcast is a Most Motion original hosted by me, Sarah Pitts. It's based on the Unlocking Fitness book series, which you can get from unlockingfitness.com. At the time of recording, book 1 in the series is available, with books 2 to 5 in the pipeline. You can find more Most Motion at mostmotion.com and on Facebook at Most Motion.